She attacked me, he declared, gesturing at the evidence trickling from his temple. I can have her thrown behind bars for striking the chief constable. She attacked you. Agnes narrowed her eyes into slits before she shook her head. Evie never did learn to properly bleed a chicken. A shard of glass levitated off the ground to swivel in the air until its jagged edge was trained menacingly at Malcolm. He took another step back. You wouldn't dare. I will have you and your tease of a daughter run out of town. Agnes's fists curled at her sides, and the still levitating piece of glass jerked in ominous threat. Evangeline snapped out of her haze and attempted to snatch the shard from the air before her mother could act on anger. The glass piece hovered firmly, unyielding. Mother, please! Evangeline shot Agnes a beseeching look. She wasn't worried about Malcolm's life. Her mother might be enraged enough to maim, but she was no cold-blooded murderer. No, Evangeline was worried about Malcolm's threat. Though Agnes was a powerful mage, Malcolm descended from a long line of Fairsworns, a family designated as the vicegerents of Arns for so many generations that they had become the law. Added to that, Malcolm himself had weighty connections. As the chief constable, he communed frequently with battle mages and high mages alike. Malcolm was also vindictive enough to act on his threat without heeding the effect it would have on the villagers. With the closest healer 3 days away on horseback, the villagers, particularly the ones hard-pressed for coin, needed the bar apothecary as much as Agnes needed the solace and solitude offered by the community. After a strained moment, her mother relented. The glass shard continued to levitate, but the sharp edge was no longer pointed in Malcolm's direction. Evangeline plucked it from the air with a sigh of relief. Malcolm snorted and rolled his eyes. Evangeline glared at him. I'd get out of here if I were you. You can't throw me out, he said with a sneer. This is my town. This is my shop, Agnes countered. And I'm sure the governor, Agnes raised a pointed brow, your father, wouldn't be too happy to hear you've caused a scene in Arn's only apothecary. Malcolm's face deepened into a shade of puce. For a terrible moment, Evangeline wondered if he would attack her mother. He never did tolerate reminders of his father's superior standing. Malcolm preferred to think of himself as a man of his own making.